Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. You know, yesterday, after hanging out with the family, I turned on the TV late, and to my surprise, HBO was showing late at night, like at midnight, West Coast time, both fights between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez. So I sat down and I looked at the fights. And let me just say, you know, they have me believing that there's a betting strategy for betting this fight. And let me just say, I'm a straddle better. The outcome I'm going to eliminate is Manny Pacquiao winning by KO after the sixth round. Right? Quite frankly, I would even be bolder than that. And I would eliminate Manny Pacquiao winning by KO after the fourth round. However, the casinos are giving such rich odds on the fifth and sixth round that I wouldn't walk away from that bargain. In any event, I believe that if this fight ends by stoppage after the sixth round, I believe the guy getting the stoppage would be Juan Manuel Marquez. Let's talk about it. Let me also point out, too, Manny Pacquiao has a fairly good chance of getting a KO in the first four rounds, in my opinion. Those first four rounds are going to decide, in my opinion, whether Pacquiao gets the KO or not. Now, let me just say that the odds are fluid on this fight, particularly on the prop betting. But if you're looking for leverage, understand a few bets really stand out. The first, as recently as yesterday, I haven't checked today, Sky Bet in the UK was offering a prop at 7-2 on whether this fight gets stopped in the first six rounds. In other words, you wouldn't get just Manny Pacquiao by KO in the first six rounds. You would also have gotten Juan Manuel Marquez by KO in the first six rounds, and you'd have gotten that at a plus 350. Not only that, some casinos have props as high as 20-1 on Marquez by KO in the fight. That's the full 12 rounds, right? Plus 20-1. And of course, for those looking for a hedge, and I'm always looking for a hedge, for those looking for a hedge, some casinos, for the distance prop on whether the fight goes the distance, are actually offering you even money. And so you literally could be hedged if the fight goes the distance while giving yourself exposure to odds like 7-2, plus 350 and plus 2,000 on the 20-1. Now let's talk about why I don't think Manny Pacquiao can get a late KO in this fight. Right? The first reason is simply because Manny Pacquiao hasn't been getting late KOs. Right? He beat Oscar De La Hoya later in the fight, but Oscar quit on his stool. It was a KO. The casino would consider it a KO. But let's remember, Manny Pacquiao didn't knock out Oscar late in that fight. I know I'm going to hear from people on the Miguel Cotto fight. I encourage people to look at the 12th round of that Cotto fight. Cotto, quite frankly, was in worse shape earlier in the fight, much earlier in the fight. In the 12th round, I thought that the referee was a bit overzealous in stopping that fight late. Now, I'll agree with people that Marquez has not beaten anybody above lightweight, right? Certainly hasn't knocked out anybody above lightweight. Fair enough? But let me say this. Because of the mechanics of the fight, right, Marquez is much more likely than Pacquiao to get a late stoppage. Let's talk tools, right? If you look at a superstar fighter, And I'm talking about the very best fighters in boxing. You can literally just have a little checklist of the punches they throw that are the most effective. Let's do that for Vladimir Klitschko, heavyweight champion. Everyone knows it, right? Vladimir Klitschko has one of boxing's absolute best jabs, right? He can take you out with just the jab, right? It's a left jab. He's a righty. He also has a spectacular left hook, right? So he can hit you with the jab from distance. He can then deliver a great left hook from distance. He beat Ray Austin with just the jab and the left hook. I'm not sure if he threw a right hand the entire fight. He knocked out Eddie Chambers, knocked him out cold with a left hook. Of course, Vladimir Klitschko's bread and butter is a straight right hand, right? He always has that right hand cocked. He batters you with the jab. Then he comes across with the straight right hand. He doesn't throw too many body punches, right? Cross body punches off the list. He doesn't really throw uppercuts. Cross that off the list. In other words, those are too infrequent for a gambler to really take into account. So he has three big offensive tools, right? Left jab, left hook, straight right hand. That's what I see, right? And it's a left hook up top, not to the body, right? He doesn't waste a lot of time taking out your body. He's a head hunter, right? Let's do that for Pacquiao and Marquez. Pacquiao has an A-plus punch. It's one of the best punches in boxing. It's a straight right hand up top, right? Doesn't throw it to your chest, doesn't hit you in the body with it. It's a straight right hand up top. At least he can't get that left to the body against Marquez because of distance. The reason it works so well is Pacquiao is an athlete blessed with some of the best feet in the sport. So he is outside and he can deliver power. He can just turn his shoulders, hit you with that straight left hand, and he's a southpaw. From distance, he can knock you out from distance with that left hand. He's been battering Juan Manuel Marquez with it for 2 fights. That's his weapon. It's an A-plus punch, right? His right hand is just a placeholder, right? He does have power in a short right hook, but you can neutralize that with your feet just from distance because he can only throw that short right hook when he's right up on you. And while his straight left is an A+, his right hand at best is a B, right? His right jab is just a placeholder, doesn't merit a lot of mention, right? What Pacquiao does effectively against Marquez is hit him with left hands up top, predominantly straight left hands. He does have a pretty potent left hook, but because of the spacing with Marquez, the punch he's landing most of the time is a straight left hand, right? Let me just say, that's why when he's fighting a vet like Shane Mosley, and he's knocked Shane Mosley down early in the fight, and you think Shane's a goner, how's he possibly going to last the rest of the fight? That's when you realize that Shane Mosley only has to protect himself from Manny Pacquiao's left hand, right? Mosley could survive because once he defends the left hand, that was all there was, right? In both of these fights, Marquez, early on, is always at a loss on how to deal with Manny Pacquiao's straight left hand. He didn't know in the first fight, right? Got dropped 3 times in the first round. The second fight, which is somewhat different, he actually knows how to defend it, but Manny Pacquiao throws a straight left from a bizarre angle that actually knocks Marquez down in the third round, right? Other than that, Marquez has that straight left defense. I believe Manny Pacquiao, who hasn't been able to do an ambush style against Marquez because Marquez is too defensively gifted and knows how to deal with space, right? Berestein, quite frankly, and Marquez are much better chess players than Pacquiao and Freddie Roach. They're much better, right? Marquez's corner, very cerebral, more cerebral than physical, whereas Freddie Roach, much more physical, much more speed-oriented than Marquez's corner, right? I believe that Pacquiao can't do the ambush style that he did against Antonio Margarito, is very left-hand dependent, doesn't have enough of a right hand to set up shop inside. So the question is, and Pacquiao's a bigger guy, right? He's the naturally bigger guy. Can Manny Pacquiao get off that left hand early before Marquez figures out the angles? Let me just say, Marquez has many more tools than Manny Pacquiao. He's the more refined boxer, but he's not the better athlete. Marquez has, in addition to a straight counter right hand, and it's a gem. That's an A-plus punch. He has it timed perfectly. Marquez has a left hook. Don't sleep on the left hook. It's the left hook he hits Pacquiao with at the end of the second round of the rematch. And Marquez, like Floyd Mayweather, can throw that left hook upstairs, but he could also throw it downstairs, right? And what I've found is as these fights progress, Marquez just has more to work with than Manny Pacquiao. If he could just escape Manny Pacquiao's straight left hand, he has the bigger toolbox than Manny Pacquiao, right? So let me just say this. I think Pacquiao has a good chance at a knockout, in part because they're fighting at a weight at which Marquez has never gotten a stoppage, right? And Manny Pacquiao is much more proven at 144, 145 than Juan Manuel Marquez is. Plus, Pacquiao's the much better athlete. He's the stronger of the two men, right? If it's fighting, if it's just a shootout where the guys are going for the stoppage, I believe Manny Pacquiao has a pretty good shot at an early stoppage, right? In your betting portfolio, you need to include Pacquiao by KO early. But all I'm saying is this. Pacquiao is not that complicated a fighter. Once Marquez, who figures out the angles on Manny Pacquiao's straight left hand, and it looks like he had it figured out, certainly in the second fight. If he remembers and figures out the angles on Manny Pacquiao's straight left hand, there is a chance he deconstructs Manny Pacquiao and gets a late stoppage himself, right? All I'm saying is he has Pacquiao that figured out. Pacquiao still doesn't know how to block Marquez's straight counter right hand or Marquez's left hook to the body, right? And so all I'm saying is this fight could well end in a stoppage. Either guy could get a stoppage. I think Manny Pacquiao's best chance for a dramatic win is an early KO. If this goes to a decision, I'm expecting Marquez to dominate the later rounds of this fight. Let me also point out, too, my own personal bias. The first fight, that's awfully close. I watched the second fight, and I had Marquez winning that fight clearly by something like 3 rounds. In other words, that fight reached a certain pattern where I thought Marquez reached a point where he was dominating the action technically in the ring. Again, remember the tools. Manny Pacquiao, A+, straight left hand. That's it. Marquez, left hook up top, left hook down low. Great counter right hand. Because he's fighting a southpaw, doesn't throw a lot of left jabs. Thanks for watching.